My name is Nathan, and I am with TradeWithBanks.com. I don't know if you know me or if you've ever heard of me before. I don't know what your impression of me or whatever impression I've made of myself in the past. I just want you to know that here right now, I have an important message that I'd like to share with you about trading with banks. And by trading with banks, I mean trading with the banks and institutions who actually created this whole how to trade from home business. You know, the one where you can wake up and go to your charts, predict which way the market is going to move, and whether it goes up or down, you could buy or sell and make money if you are correct. Sounds like a reasonable thing. Unfortunately, statistically, most people, they just don't do any good at it. And so rumor spreads that it's really difficult, that it's hard, that you need to basically be a wolf of Wall Street, or you should only trust wolves of Wall Street, right? Or these Wall Street brokers and booksellers and, club members, basically, the people who created this machine. The truth is, I find myself in a lot of situations where I'll be around people where they ask me, what do you do? And I say, well, I'm a day trader. And I also teach certain people who are willing to learn how to day trade. I don't come cheap, but if they're willing, I'm willing. Because let's face it, it's a great skill to know. And usually the response that I get is, wow, I'm not smart enough for that. And I get to thinking, I'm like, really? I mean, like you, for example, you should know, just look at me. I'm wearing, look at me. If I was trying to be credible, I would be smart and I'd wear like a business suit. I wouldn't be in my shop, my workshop per se, where I do most of my trading. I'd be in my home office. But my wife doesn't want me bringing my business into our home. And I don't blame her. Our home is her nest, So we just leave it at that. In any case, let me tell you something. This little area right here, this square footage, could potentially be the most profitable square footage in all of this zip code. And I want the same for you, right? And let me tell you something. You gotta kind of be dumb to figure this out. And I mean it. It's not the other way around. Smart people, they come, they look, they put some money in, they try to trade a little bit, they feel like they're being traded against, or things go wrong, they lose some money, they maybe lose a little bit more money, maybe try it a couple more times, and after they fail, they're smart. They're like, hey, this ain't working for me. I don't want to do this anymore. They walk away, then everything's gravy, right? They go find some other avenue of wealth creation, and that's great. This business is definitely not for anybody. I mean, you've really got to have some strong sense of knowledge. Like you've got to have that confidence, that inner wisdom that you're correct, which is the one thing that you'll find in the mainstream they don't want you tapping into. Have you noticed that yet? Because I sure have. What I noticed for a long time is that I was always discouraged to even try to guess if I would be right in which way the market would go. And come to find out that legally, they have to move certain ways and they have to come back certain times because otherwise they can really create an economic catastrophe. And so they had to create all these laws and rules and regulations, and that gives you like this massive edge. No wonder they don't want you figuring this shit out. That's what I was thinking. Like, what the heck? Is this for real? And then you go and you find that they follow like the same weekly pattern over and over again, and you're like, is this for real? And then all you gotta do is know what the daily bias is, like what the dealers are gonna really do and where the most likely price point is gonna bounce from. It's even something that's so ridiculous you can like dollar cost average in because they're not gonna keep going. They have to put the brakes on eventually because they are going the other way. You know what I'm saying? And you just know because that's the bias. They gave it away yesterday, you see? You already know because they all know. And they have a different system that they communicate through versus the one that you've been taught. You see, there's a club and they do this thing called contributing to the cause, which basically means to keep you in the dark. Okay? And because of this, it's kind of like if we don't have to tell them, we won't tell them how it's done until they figure it out. Oh well, right? And so they've bought a lot of years with the fiat money system and the, if I establish a bank and you're a country and you got your community and you want a monetary system and we're not doing it by gold anymore. We're going to do it by a bank that, establishes an interest rate on paper only with the stroke of a pen, right? Let's say I loan you $1 million, and I say, we'll just start out at 1% interest. You say, fine, but where is the extra 1% interest? It never gets printed, which puts you instantly into debt. Listen to me now, which allows the government to basically kind of creep into default bankruptcy, which the only way that allows this bankrupt country, which is really a company, corporation, to continue to survive is to remain in conflict, which is why you'll consistently see conflict again and again. And that is the whole trance that is ending, I believe. That's the whole we're transcending kind of thing that's occurring all across the board. Since, people tried to pull some crazy stuff a few years ago with stuff over your face and don't leave your home stuff, right? And that didn't go over very well at all. Not at least where we're from, right? Not very many of us put up with that for very long. And so what I learned was that you kind of had to be done. Most people, they get in this business, they're smart, they get out because they figured that it's just a bunch of series of ways to be ripped off. But sooner or later, if you're dumb enough like me, you lose money in so many different ways that they can no longer, they don't have any more moves. You've been there and done it. It's like, yeah, I've already been scammed that way. You can't scam me that way. I saw it coming. And in fact, you start to see things coming before they come to the point where you start seeing what they're doing. And you start seeing the moves that they make in the markets, and you start seeing the patterns that they keep recreating and recurring over and over again, and at what times. So you learn that there's a dealer cycle, there's their trend and how they operate, which allows you to get your daily bias. So you understand what your daily bias is for the day. And once you understand what that is, then it's just a matter of picking the high or the low spot. Okay? And it's not hard to determine where that area is to the point where you don't have to go all in, but you could go in considerably and just walk away in most cases and just let it run and let it rip. And for the day, you just end up banking huge money, or even for the week. And so the last part is, I know a lot of you may even be career oriented. Maybe you love what you do, but you also would like to bring in a little extra cash flow. But you want to do something that doesn't require a lot of responsibility, and this is it. And it doesn't require a lot of time, because this is it. I have been teaching this online for 3 years now, and after 3 years, I have gotten endless questions that I call frequently asked questions. Let's just say endless, because they never stop, seems like. So I just say endless, but I've gotten a lot of questions, okay? And a lot of the same questions. And so it led me to create this quick start PDF that basically dissects exactly how to look at this chart. Within about 45 minutes, you'll get a good understanding of what you're seeing on the chart right here. Yeah, it's that quick, it's that simple, because that's it. It's a very easy system to learn, but it's also something that doesn't require all your time. You might be scrolling along and see on the live presentations where people are, they're looking at the lives and they're going, I've got to 4 p.m. here, Eastern time, and here we're going to get into a sell trade on NAS 100. That's not a good that is not a good idea. I don't recommend like trading all day. It has nothing to do with like it's okay to scalp and to catch scalp trades, right? But sitting and staring at the charts is not the way to go in this business. Okay? The way to go in this business is to show up when you know that the big boys are showing up. And just place your trades when they present their offer to you. And get in on those trades, and then just get in the habit of just having angry brokers with you in the beginning until they realize that you're the real deal and you know what you're doing. You're one of the at least top 10% of the world's traders who at least has a clue, right? So just let me recap real quick for you, okay? My name is Nathan Banks with TradeWithBanks.com. I got my start in 2001 in day trading from home in the Forex. I started with the Deal Station, and then I moved into MetaTrader 4, I believe, in 2005. I haven't really moved from MetaTrader 4 since, just because I use expert advisors and indicators. It's just old school. A lot of old school traders like me who use that still to this day. And that's what the platform basically looks like. And so I use that platform to basically just couple that with a broker, which allows me to place trades in and out. And one of the requirements to be successful in this business is to understand the broker and how they operate, because they're very nefarious. And you need to be able to select the right brokers, and there's just so much to discuss about them. I go into great detail. I've created a lot of podcasts about them. I give you basically everything I know about them so that you don't get ripped off by them, because they rip you off if you don't know the moves, because there's a lot of them. Okay, so if you've ever felt like you've been traded against, or you've ever seen your spreads like get manipulated and stuff like that, then you're not going nuts, okay? There's some nefarious things happening, and I just point them all out to you so you know what to look out for, and you can call them on their bull snot too, by the way. And you might be able to give them a little bit of an attitude adjustment. I also show you what kind of brokers to select. There's also so much good information on this channel. You're encouraged to just scroll to the bottom and start from the bottom up. I start with just $13 and we build that sucker. And I just keep showing you more and more proof that what I do works. That's all I'm here for, is to just show up, talk to you, and let you know that what I do works. And I'm here to help anyone who is interested in learning, because we've got it this far. If you must know, my true story is so simple. The story is so simple. My children, my twins at the time, were into that video game called Fortnite. It was a hot topic at the time. And they were getting excited because they got 100 views and they were calling it a viral video. And I said, that's not a viral video, but congratulations, that's a pretty good accomplishment. You know, we knuckled it up. I said, well, you want to see a real viral video? Because it just so happened during that time, was just out of curiosity, tapping back into and checking out. I want to see what these bozos. I would always call them the traveling circus, because back in the day, there used to be like this seminar group of people who would travel from town to town, teaching people how to trade Forex, who were basically just hooking people into a broker that were doing a bunch of Bitcoin scams, just scams. Okay? And they were just teaching the same old rehash, regurgitated bullshit that basically kept you in the dark. That's what their whole purpose was for. And I caught on to that because I got ripped off by a whole traveling circus, and some of them even tried to recruit me, and I wasn't interested, wasn't having it, wasn't buying it. And so then I did the whole indicator route and the whole bot route. Let's just put it this way, that there's, they eventually can and do and will fail. That's just the conclusion that I've always come up with. There are certain indicators, however, that are kind of universal across the board that I teach you to use, because they're very powerful. And when you see them and they continue to work over and over again, it kind of becomes a no-brainer that you could just pick one of these indicators that I share with you, these trade setups, and be set for how you're going to extract money. So again, you could do it every day. You could find a trade. You see like a move like this right here that goes up from down up and then up to down. You could learn to catch a move like that in the day. Okay, and that particular move could give you a lot of money in return. Okay, now, and in terms of how much you think you can make, that all entirely depends on the traditional or not so traditional approach to making money in the markets. You see, there are a lot of very elite people who use platforms like Bloomberg machines where they're spending, somewhere 20 grand, some 200 grand a month just to get a data feed. They're tapping in next door, doing high frequency trading, which means they're catching orders in between like Wall Street and brokers so that they can capitalize on the gaps in between into quick little trades. There's different ways that they may be able to access information and then share that information with you through signal services. However, I believe, based on my conclusion, this is like an elite package tool, bunch of tools that are just designed to make it seem like they've got more than you can't have access to. You've got everything available on MetaTrader 4. It's all there. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need to rent machines at whatever for any kind of weird signals everybody talks about anymore, like volume indicators, like order flow and stuff. And it's like, I guess if you really want to go that route, you can, but it's really not necessary because the patterns just give it away. And that's kind of the secret behind it all that I learned. I went through the gauntlet. I was not smart. I kept losing money and losing money and losing money. But I kept I'm one of those bulls that just keep getting up. If you keep knocking me down, I'll just keep getting up. I'm going to keep going because I'm not going to let this, if I'm convinced that there's a way to crack the system, I'm gonna break it. And then I have. So I suspect that if you've watched this video, okay, I consider you're a fortunate person, okay, because the system I would suspect they don't want very many people to see it, which I would encourage you to please share it. It helps me out. Share it with people that you know. It helps kind of tell the algorithm that people like this kind of information. It helps me know that you like this kind of information or this longer form content, if you will. Okay. So thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments what maybe perhaps one of your biggest struggles is in trading, and I can make a follow-up video to that. In any case, I'm willing to bet that if you spend some time on my channel here, you'll probably find the answer to the question that might be lingering in your head right now. Thanks for watching.
Here's why 96% of traders fail and how you can join the winning 4%. Step 1. Get the Pips Gravity Mastermind Trading Plan. Links in bio. Inside, you'll learn how to spot market structure shifts so you know exactly when the trend changes. Step 2. Master liquidity and fair value gaps. The same concepts banks use to trap retail traders and take their money. Step 3. Use our tested entry techniques to enter with sniper precision and manage your risk like a pro. And step 4. Follow our trade management plan to scale up without giving back your profits. Stop trading blind. Start trading with a blueprint. Pips Gravity Mastermind. Your prop firm pass starts here.